Hi, Dan, Luke, and Linus too, I guess. What industry have you been most surprised by the amount or kinds of technology that they use?
Man, just about.
I think I'm more surprised by the opposite.
Ones that don't use technology?
Or that they're still running the same computer with serial cables from the early 90s.
I remember finding out in 2010 or something like that one of our competitors at NCIX still used fax to place POs. I was like, what?
Japan
just emailed them, obviously.
I don't know if this is in the doc right now, but Japan is dealing with the fact that a bunch of businesses are still sending the government floppy disks.
Yeah, apparently they just changed the legislation that forced that. So maybe they can finally move past the floppy diskette after all these years, all these decades.
I will say, being in Japan, a lot of the more tactile things still being around is kind of nice. More things tend to have physical buttons. More things tend to have moving physical components involved that don't seem like they're going to break often.
Did I ever tell the story
it's actually pretty cool
about getting the insurance and registration taken care of for my car?
Oh yeah.
And how not only did they require fax, like signed fax, like a signed fax, but they actually required the original form for the business registration for the dealer to be mailed to the insurance broker in order to register the car, because some ICBC is our insurance provider in BC. They have a monopoly because that's legal for some reason. If anyone was looking for a platform to get elected on in BC, it would be to abolish ICBC's monopoly, and then instant you're elected, just in case anyone's wondering. Anyway, the point is, the fact that even a fax wasn't considered good enough. How is anything more than an email required? I just am sort of baffled by that. And then, the fact that things have to be physically present for signatures always blows me away. Hey, the superb owl is coming up really soon. Sports tech is really cool.
Sports tech is really cool, especially in the NFL, actually.
Yeah. Have you watched an NHL game recently? Hockey game?
No. I heard we're doing well, but no.
Remember how bad those digitally superimposed boards
they're insane now.
They're really good now.
I have seen that.
They move and stuff, and looks really good.
Yeah. Yeah. But genuinely, if you're into tech at all, even if you hate sports, if you look into the tech that the NFL uses for NFL games, it's really pretty wild. That is actually an extremely tech forward organization.
Yep.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know it from all the NFL co-branded merchandise. We did that video where we bought sports tech. It was just the cheapest
absolutely
of AliExpress garbage with a silk screened logo on it. It was amazing.
Yeah, but when it comes to their games and how they do reffing and all this other kind of stuff, really impressive.
Yeah, Hawkeye is super cool.
I might have some news about Hawkeye for you.
Oh, okay. Well, here, why don't I first explain what Hawkeye is? It's what they use for tennis, badminton.
Oh, yeah.
To track the projectile. And I didn't realize this, but it's not actually that the camera array is seeing where the ball landed or where the shuttle landed. It's that it is calculating based on the initial trajectory where it will go. So Hawkeye might not actually always be right, because this is less true of a tennis ball probably, where
you could do a NASA style to compute thing where you have Hawkeye try to figure it out, and you have something that watches it and tries to figure it out.
Well, I think they do have that.
Okay.
But it has to make a decision, and it is the final call.
Hawkeye is?
Yeah. Because Hawkeye only comes out, at least in badminton, I don't know how it works in tennis. In badminton, Hawkeye only comes out in the event of a challenge. So they have...
eRob18 full plane chat. I don't necessarily know how true this is, but I've worked with Hawkeye at a Grand Slam tennis tournament. It's not 100%.
Yeah.
They use a lot of cameras.
I know they use a lot of cameras. It's in the dozens, if I recall correctly. It's a flipping ton of them. But aside from the cameras, my understanding, and hey, feel free to correct me, my understanding is that the cameras are more about feeding data into the computational engine that decides where it landed, because the point of contact is so much smaller than the actual projectile. Think about it. For a tennis ball,
No, absolutely. Yeah.
only the part that mushes touched the court. And if the edge of the ball that doesn't mush onto the ground is over the line, well, that doesn't count. So no camera, unless it was positioned at ground level, is going to actually see how much that ball compressed, or in the case of a shuttle, how much the cork compressed as it hit the ground. So they cannot see where it landed. They just have to have a pretty good idea of where it landed. And in tennis, I could see this being less of a problem. But in badminton, the shuttle is fragile. So if you knock a feather off of it with a really powerful smash or something like that, its trajectory may not be as anticipated. Man, sports projectiles are a fun rabbit hole.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever watched a baseball get made?
Yeah.
They apparently like tried to cost them down and make it like machine sewn or something, and they were like, "No, this doesn't work." So they're hand sewn. Like every single baseball that the players are just so casually just like huck it to the fans, which they should. That's a part of the experience of the ball game. It's like handcrafted. Like what?
What's that thing about like
Badminton shuttles too? Man, badminton shuttle manufacturing is wild. The fact that they only cost like about $1.50 wholesale US is mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, baseball rubbing mud.
Anyway, Dan, tell us about Hawkeye.
Yeah, so we had some really good feedback after the Badminton Center video came out, and some people have been recommending a bunch of equipment, especially for the audio, like something like QSys came up a lot. And so I did some digging with Matt, and apparently QSys has a lot of partnerships with Intel and Dell, and then also with Sony. And so apparently Sony also works intensely with Hawkeye, and we may...
This is sounding really expensive.
We may be able to get a Hawkeye system.
What?
Maybe. We'll see.
How
there
much,
there might be some major partnership stuff, but we'll have to see.
How much, Dan?
I don't know. But like full Sony Badminton Center build out. But if you could have a Hawkeye system.
Okay.
Like just it would be installed and it would be
Permanent.
It would be yours.
Because generally you rent them just for people in the
Yeah,
audience.
that's my understanding anyway.
Or
Just for people in the audience.
we do a Hawkeye video and then
I mean,
we do a Hawkeye video, we explain the system. We do a full build out.
fascinated
Not
by
only,
Hawkeye.
not only is
It
he
is
down,
so cool.
That would be a sick video.
It would be
sick
an
video.
incredible
Do it anyways.
video.
Like-
And then, we put that in with the QSys system because they've got some really amazing, they're all based on like Dell servers.
What is
and it's all-
QSys?
QSys is sort of like the same audio management system that we're planning to put in.
Okay, like
There's
Dante.
Yeah, but it works with Dante. Like there's a controller box, and all of them are kind of in the same kind of integration thing. They've got
Okay.
some. And then they're also partnered with Sony. So you know how we're going to have our TVs all over the lobby?
Yeah.
So QSys actually has a partnership with Sony because the Sony like professional display TVs have a QSys integration. So all of the media and everything can be controlled under the same banner in the same system.
Okay, so we'd really need to change like a lot of stuff.
Well, we'll see, but
We haven't
I was-
ordered it yet.
it might be worth it.
I was
Yeah.
just planning to buy cheap TCLs and then replace them when they burn out.
Yeah.
Like that was and put USB sticks in them with a looping video. Like that was actually the plan. It was minimum
Yeah.
viable product.
Well, I mean, all of it was designed under minimum viable product.
Well, except the facility could easily accommodate what Dan's talking about. So we,
yeah.
yeah, sorry.
Hawkeye.
So basically, what we did, so just to give you guys a bit more context here, is we built amazing bones,
Yeah.
and then we planned to put the cheapest possible flesh on them.
Yeah.
With the idea being that
Which
in the
makes sense.
future we would
You could upgrade or you could replace. as
we
needed.
are decked the fuck out when it comes to networking and power, because that's how we roll.
Those things are annoying to run. You run it once, you hopefully don't think about it again.
But knowing that technology only gets cheaper, unless it's a GPU, we had planned to just go bare minimum for the initial implementation and then to kind of see how it goes.
We might need.
But look, I'm like, I need to take my sweater off excited if we could have a Hawkeye.
I mean, this is kind of what we're working on, because after that video came out, just everybody started jumping on me for that audio setup.
Oh,
but
dude,
it would just hurt. But of course, right, minimal viable product.
Leave Dan alone.
That's what we need to have. Can you come and pick up? Can you pick up our car, please?
Dan's plan made complete sense given the bounds that we gave him. To be very clear, we could have told him you can spend as much money as you want. He could have come up with a different system.
My client gave me exacting specifications for that. Yeah. Right.
So leave Dan alone.
But looking into QSys, like some stuff, some good stuff did come out of this, and because we have people with Intel, and I think Matt's already reached out to a couple of them, because all of them, like QSys has a heart and the head is Intel, and there's Dell as well, and all of them know what we're doing, and they know QSys, and then
this is hilarious,
and then Sony, and then also Hawkeye.
We need to release preemptive videos for every future project.
This is why we never build anything reasonable. Yeah. Because the second we say that's our plan, either the community or our industry partners jumps on us. They're like, what are you doing? That could be 8% better.
So for me, right? So the system I designed for your minimal viable product, cheapest that we can get going.
Yeah.
It can do like, I don't know, maybe 16 channels or something like that.
Seems fine.
The problem
fine.
problem is that the QSys things that have the Dell logo on the front of them that run on the Intel servers are designed for airports. So they have 256 independent channels of Dante and like 1,000 different individual paging zones. And so some people were asking, they're like, so how many paging zones do you need? And I'm like, well, the spec got changed so it's one. Because we didn't want to buy a second microphone, so we're just gonna do one. And it's like, okay, well, I need an airport.
Wait, okay, you're making me.
No, you did.
I know, but you're making me sound like such a cheap head.
No, but that was reasonable.
It was
okay.
All of it is extremely reasonable.
Should we tell them what my plan was, Dan? Should we tell them what my plan was?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm known as the cheap guy.
Yeah.
So I threw my plan into the ring, and it got upgraded because my plan was rough. If you want to know what my plan was,
not a 610, 5300.
It was I don't remember fully, but it was like Raspberry Pis connected to speakers, and they're all logged into Discord.
Oh, I've done a full house install. I've done a house install like that.
You would just move your talking thing around in Discord and then speak into a mic. It was really cheap.
Move to Jim channel.
It was very cheap. And then, so we went from my garbage solution that would cost practically nothing.
Yeah.
And we looked at, because there was conversations early on of
we looked at traditional paging systems as well. There was months of discussion, right?
Oh, yeah. So we went way above, we went way below, and then we found the pretty reasonable spot in the middle. And now we have offers that might result in it being way above again.
In a facility that we plan to have a grand total of about 2 people on staff at any given time, we're going to have a 6-person IT team.
So this is the problem. I mean, that's why I went with that system initially, because that was one of your requirements. It just has to work with no training and be really simple, right?
I love
Look at him. He's freaking out. What if you could keep it? What if you could keep it, Linus?
What if you had a system at all times?
I mean, you might have to put a Sony sticker on something.
Badminton center in Canada.
They also do like floor to ceiling
have the best badminton center in Canada.
Nano LED walls that are all also controlled. Like it's digital signage,
we're not
right?
doing that.
Why not?
No, those are like millions of dollars for an install. We're not.
You could put a Sony banner on the outside.
I don't even want to.
The Sony Linus Badminton Smash Sony Champs.
I don't even want
Center
to owe them
for badminton players
of my soul
who can't read good and want to play badminton.
They would be entitled to at that price.
No, that would not be reasonable. But no, full Hawkeye video would be actually incredible because I don't think there's been any media on it. Like. Really at all.
There's a little bit, but it's kind of it's pretty dry, like kind of explainer type stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think that I've seen anyone who's like an independent media who has gotten a chance to benchmark it. Like, I would be really interested to put Hawkeye up against Real Eye. And like an array of like, 25 cameras around a spot. How good is Hawkeye? I mean, this is the kind of thing that they're probably looking at going,
we're not gonna do that, are we?
That'd be sick though.
But that would be really interesting to me.
And then, of course, that also means that the cameras that are going to be recording the courts, they would probably also be Sony.
Oh, well, that's good. We have found that Sony one we really liked. The only reason I was going to go Panasonic was because it was cheaper.
Well, they're also doing like some PTZ cameras.
Yeah. Pan, tilt, zoom, for those not familiar. So they are remotely controlled.
Yeah. And a lot of it is in like maybe tracking and stuff as well. But I don't think those are going to be super necessary. But, huge build out. Very exciting.
Yeah. One bit of a downer. I saw one comment where someone was like, hey, I work with BWF, which is the Badminton World Federation or whatever. One of the big mistakes we see a lot of centers making is not investing properly in the lighting and the and certain other elements to make it BWF standard. So we'd love to work with you guys to make it so you could like host international tournaments and stuff. I don't think that's feasible as much as I appreciate the outreach, because we don't have any kind of we don't have any kind of spectator capabilities, really. Like, you could be up in the lounge, but we don't have parking to accommodate if hundreds or thousands of people wanted to watch or whatever. We could handle video, but part of a sporting event is the crowd. Right, at least to a degree.
Yeah, we do have a crowd section, though. They can all be on treadmills.
Yeah, exactly. And then number 2 is that we don't actually have a high enough ceiling.
Oh,
really?
Yeah. So I'm trying to find it right now, but yeah, here it is. According to the minimum ceiling height for a badminton court at Olympic Games, Youth Olympic Games, grade 1, grade 2, and badminton BWF level is 39 feet. Ours are, I want to say 32.
30, okay.
Yeah, I think they're 32 or 34. I can't remember exactly, which is for even a high-level recreational player, more than fine. But those professional players, man, do they ever hit hard. And there are certain instances, I saw so many people in the comments on that video who they don't know anything about badminton. And I get it. In North America, most people know absolutely nothing about the sport.
I didn't.
And one of the big comments that I saw from people is, what do you need all that vertical height for badminton? Well, let me tell you, high-level players, if their opponent plays a really tight shot over the net, where they're basically just coming in like this and just kind of popping it up so the shuttle tumbles and it just barely like kind of rolls over the net, what they're going to do to counter that is they're going to come up and they're going to hit it as high as humanly possible, way up and toward the back of the court. And the more ceiling height you have, the more travel they can get toward the back of the court. And that's really important because the closer it is to the front, the more likely it is that they are going to be eating that shuttle when their opponent smashes it down at them. So having it having the ceilings really high is actually incredibly important. So we're not going to be able to host like a BWF sanctioned tournament or anything like that. That's not in our future. That's how high the ceiling is. There's absolutely nothing we can do to change that. It'll be a quality facility. It'll have some of the highest ceilings in the Lower Mainland, but no BWF tournaments for us. Hawkeye'd be cool though.
Hawkeye would be sick.
Hawkeye's so bad.
Just for any tournament.
Even if it was just a video.
Yeah. Yeah, even if we had to tear it out, that's fine. I'd be down.
Yep.
Yep.